Brandis, the U.S. finds itself in the midst of an intriguing space race. That is, the race to find any evidence of life on Mars. NASA's Perseverance rover has been on the surface of the red planet since February, and in recent weeks, the space agency's most ambitious mission to date on the planet has already scored a number of firsts. Joining us to give us an update on just how this mission is going is astronomer and space enthusiast Mark Hammergren. Mark, it's always great to see you. So before we talk about what's going on now, remind us the purpose of this mission.
So NASA for quite a while now has been focused on a really big question, and that is, does life exist on Mars? Does life have a history of living on Mars and throughout the past? And this mission is the first one to really be able to directly address that.
And I think David Bowie also asked that question in a song. So what kinds of ancient life could this Mars rover detect? What are we looking for?
Most likely microbial life. It'd be great if we could find big fossils, but that's not very likely. So it's designed to look for trace chemicals or perhaps even little microscopic structures that indicate that things were living there on Mars in these places.
And what gives scientists reason to believe that they could find that?
Well, because the conditions on Mars, as hostile as they seem to us humans, they can support microbial life very, very well. And we find bacteria and other microbes here on Earth that exist under really extreme circumstances. It's a growing field of study, and Mars could very well support that kind of life.
All right, let's talk about all the firsts that this enterprise has accomplished so far. First time a helicopter has been flown as a drone from another planet. How is that working?
It's working extraordinarily well. Now, this helicopter, the Ingenuity helicopter, is really a test bed. Keep in mind that it's a prototype. I mean, the first one ever. The Wright brothers didn't fly passengers on their first plane flight. So Ingenuity is not designed to produce great science, but rather show what could be done by a small helicopter on Mars in the future.
So these are baby steps here. And tell us how... First of all, there's another first here. I think we have our first sounds from Mars. I think we have the sound of a very windy, bleak landscape. There it is. What does that sound like to you, Mark?
It sounds like wind blowing against a microphone. And anyone who's used a phone outside would recognize that kind of sound. And it's fantastic because that's Mars that we're hearing.
So it doesn't sound too different from our own planet. Another thing going on here is this instrument called MOXIE, which is used to convert Mars' carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere into oxygen. How does that work?
Well, it uses both electricity and heat to take that carbon dioxide, a very thin carbon dioxide atmosphere, and break the carbon dioxide apart, and part of that is oxygen. So it can concentrate that, and the astronauts can use it for breathing in the future, perhaps, or use it for rocket fuel.
And rocket fuel is important because if we land a crew on there, we have to find a way to have them take off and come back. So what does this portend for when we might be able to send people to Mars?
Well, it means that we have demonstrated we can generate some of these resources there on the surface of Mars. Anything we make there means that we don't have to haul it there from to Mars from Earth. And the amount of oxygen you need to launch people back off of Mars to Earth is somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50 tons of that stuff. So it would be a great help to have it there.
And how about for folks to actually be able to breathe the atmosphere and stay there for a while?
Well, I think that would be very essential, yes.
How far away from that are we, do you think?
You know, that's a good question, and there are no definitive timetables for that. Heck, we don't even have a definitive timetable for getting back to the moon. But most numbers seem to indicate the 2030s.
Well, hopefully we'll all be around to see that. It's very exciting. So tell us about where this mission landed. It's the Jezero crater. It's a very specific place on Mars.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The crater appears to be a former lake bed. Looks like there was a lake, there was a river running into it, and there's a big delta deposit of debris and sediments that got deposited right into the lake. And the Perseverance probe landed not too far away, bang on where it was supposed to, next to this delta. So that's going to be a great place to investigate the history of water on Mars. And on Earth, this is a great place to look for life on a planet.
And of course, where there's water, there is the potential for life. And clearly,
Yes.
it seems to be 100% certain that there was water there at the Israel crater. And then there's concerns about perhaps getting some of the Earth microbiomes on Mars, which is not something scientists want. Talk about those concerns.
Well, yeah, that's a great concern because it would be incredibly tragic if we found life on Mars and it proved to be Earth life that we contaminated it with. So microbes, as we discussed earlier, can survive in the conditions on the surface of Mars and right under the surface of Mars. If we brought bacteria that can survive the transit through space and the conditions on Mars, then they might reproduce on the surface of Mars. So we have to try to minimize those chances. Now, as anyone who's grown a garden here on Earth, just because you get the right conditions and you get the seeds doesn't mean that things will propagate. So I'm not incredibly worried right now.
But it looks like there might be the potential for that, however minimal, and I think Ray Bradbury wrote about that. What about taking samples back to Earth from Mars? Is that going to happen?
It's not going to happen with this mission. Perseverance is collecting rock samples and sticking them into tubes, collecting tubes, that will be dropped off on the surface and left there for a future mission to pick up and hopefully bring back to Earth.
What are the next steps here? We mentioned this has been on the ground in Mars since February. What are we going to learn in the coming months?
Well, Perseverance is right now coming to a close of its startup and checkout procedures. It was able to do that while it launched the helicopter. And now it's going to begin its journey towards the Delta, taking a meandering path. And it's going to be doing science investigations now, looking at rocks, drilling into them, collecting rock samples.
All right, well, we'll see what those samples turn up. And our thanks, as always, to Mark Hammergren. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.